let's talk about Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Every once in a while, a film comes along that is so effortlessly charming, technically sound, and captures the hearts of many. For me, this is that film. Everything Everywhere All at Once, directed by the Daniels, has grown to become one of my all-time favorite films, and here's why. Many Hollywood blockbuster films in the past that have dealt with fictional concepts such as magic, multiverses, spells, and I don't even know what this is, would usually just rely on a visual effects company that consists of sleep-deprived artists running on caffeine and 4 hours of sleep to create these out-of-this-world sequences. This being an independent film, however, they really don't have the budget or the luxury to do so. Yet, the Daniels managed to overcome this with just a simple cut. Let's first talk about the match cut. This cut is commonly used to simply create a transition from one scene to another that both share a common visual reference point, hence the term match cut. This can either follow a subject or follow through an action to make the transition less jarring. With that said, it's pretty hard to miss this cut being put to use in the film. It's practically used in almost every scene actually. Not only is it used to show when Evelyn is verse jumping through her different realities, but it is also used in creating jokes such as these. This is especially evident in director Edgar Wright's previous comedies, and both basically follow the same principles. I just love how the match cut in itself is almost treated as a character in a way, rather than just a transition from point A to B. It represents the multiverse, which is achieved with just a simple cut. The bulk of the work really just goes into the planning and pre-production phase. Jesus, it must have been a pain in the ass to keep track of all the right takes and the different camera setups. It's just brilliant and ties into the story so seamlessly. There were also a lot of clever sequences that were done practically and only needed some minor visual effects work. One scene in particular, which left quite an impression on me, had me curious as to how they made this beautiful shot. And apparently, all it takes is a green screen, some budget LED panels, a leaf blower, and some stock footage. Splice them up together and you got yourself a stunning sequence. The directors go much more in depth as to how the scene was made and more, which you can check out right here. But going back, it just goes to show that you don't need the most expensive equipment to tell a good story. All you need is a bit of creativity, and it's honestly inspiring. Mind you, the visual effects department consisted of primarily 5 people. 5. To create so much with so little at this level? It's insane. Practical effects that desperately deserve honorable mentions also include Rakakuni, Johnny the Pomeranian, the hot dog fingers, and this specific body rig. The stunt choreography was amazing as well, and the film surprisingly had a substantial number of fight sequences, which was just a feast for the eyes. Michelle Yeoh and Ke Huy Quan are no strangers to the world of fight choreography and did the majority of their own stunts. It must have been a dream to have such talent at your disposal. Let's not forget that the stunt coordinator deserves much needed praise as well for choreographing such amazing fight sequences without sacrificing the story. An example of this was when Evelyn and her enemies desperately needed to verse jump, and the only way was to Yeah. It wasn't just flashy punches and flips, both parties had a clear goal. One was to take the trophy, or what is assumed to be a trophy, and the other was to take it away. This dynamic made for such an exhilarating fight scene, which kept me at the edge of my seat because there is a constant push and pull relationship amidst all the chaos. Top that with clever quips and jokes, and you have a compelling fight sequence. I also want to mention the sequence in which Waymond started absolutely beating the crap out of a horde of security guards with just a fanny pack. Now that is how you choreograph a fight scene. This takes me back to Hong Kong action cinema where everyday objects are the stars of the choreography, integrating it in the most creative ways possible, Jackie Chan being one of the masters at it. Actually, ironically enough, he was initially supposed to star in the film in the place of Ke Huy Quan, with him being the lead. But maybe that's a story for another universe.
Holy shit.
Is he dead?
The film's production process must have been quite the journey considering the scope of the film, given that it was on such a tight budget. I just love how the Daniels create such obstacles with unconventional and creative approaches that you rarely get to see nowadays. The Daniels are known for their weird and kooky premises, tied in with a deeper and personal message, which is apparent in their previous film Swiss Army Man, which follows Paul Dano and Daniel Radcliffe's paralyzed corpse who has a severe farting issue, stuck on a deserted island on the quest for self-discovery and coming to acceptance of our truest selves, which I immediately fell in love with. They managed to one-up themselves with the same charm and more in Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is by far one of my favorite films of all time.
What the fuck are you doing?
I just love how unapologetic the Daniels are, and the film really puts their unhinged creativity on full display here. Everything from the humor to the design choices. It's just a melting pot of ideas that shouldn't work altogether, but it did under their supervision. I mean, imagine pitching to a producer that in your story, one of your characters needs to shove a phallic trophy up his ass to gain the fighting skills of his other version in an alternate universe. Or one of your alternate universes in your multiverse consists of people who have hot dogs for fingers, all the while ketchup and mustard ooze out of their bodies when they make passionate love. There was no hesitation at all, and I love that. The performances as well were unmatched and perfectly cast. This for me is Michelle Yeoh's best performance to date. Her portrayal of Evelyn was so effortlessly funny and charming, which made her such a lovable and human character. I mean, the same could be said of Ke Huy Quan as well. His portrayal of Waymond was so precious. Everyone on Letterboxd had practically fallen in love with the guy. Let's not forget that they did the majority of the stunt work as well, which just adds another level of complexity alongside the acting. Other castmates such as Stephanie Soo and Jamie Lee Curtis did such a stellar job as well. The narrative presents us with so much to ponder about. The film introduces numerous concepts such as overcoming generational trauma, the grueling immigrant lifestyle, the different perspectives on nihilism, and so much more. But ultimately, the film at its core really is just the pursuit of love and the meaning of life. This film came out at such a relevant time as well, in the age where we are all confronted with the many realities through the internet and how successful and much more exciting we think other people's lives are. Much like Evelyn, we feel as if these goals that we aspire to achieve are insignificant. We fantasize about the different what-if scenarios we could be living right now if we had done something differently. We are nothing but tiny specks of matter in the vast universe of galaxies and floating rocks. Ultimately, nothing matters. But this is exactly why we should focus on the things that do matter to us. Family, friends, loved ones, and everything in between. Let us not waste our lives over something trivial and live our best lives.
We can do whatever we want. nothing matters.
We may not be able to fully grasp what our purpose in life is yet, but at least we have each other, and sometimes that's all you really need.
尽管离家让我心碎，我想告诉你，如果有来生，我还是会选择和你一起报税，开心一点。
Anyways, that's it for me today. Thanks for watching.